And there we have it, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you're watching. The final is finally underway. This is Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Challenge 3 final. A rough start. We do apologize for the waiting. We had a couple of issues with some of the players, but looks like that we are on track now. All 12 players are in. Some last-minute changes, so we see that Schleg and Lorenzo 42 are subbing for Totexi, the Japanese player, and Johannes Bansen, the German player who did not show up. And 10 seconds to start with this first race in Nacra 17. And so there we have it with the start. So it's going to be an upwind course for this first race of the Nacra 17, and we're going to have a total of 7 races for this final. So we're going to loop through the Nacra, the Ilka, and the 49er twice, and then we're going to end with the Nacra 17 again. And the last race is going to be a reaching start for the Nacra 17. With various wind conditions, all of the finals are going to be happening in the South Harbor of Marseille, like the Olympics that we've seen and that are now finished, and the Paralympics that are currently ongoing. And well, we'll recognize some of the players from previous finals, like Ame, like Lorenzo 42, like Von Pigeon, I believe, KGR as well, and some others. But we're also going to see some new faces that we haven't seen in the previous finals. Hida is one of them. Hida is, I think, has been a finalist of the eSailing World Championship twice in a row already now. So could be argued that he is one of the favorites for tonight. And we're wishing best of our lucks to all 12 of these sailors, as Moritz is saying. For those watching us in the chat, what are your predictions? Who are the 2 players that you think will make it tonight? As a reminder, only the top 2 of tonight are going to qualify for the Paris 2024 Grand Final, and plus the 2 of each challenge final is going to be the top 2 male players of the general leaderboard and the top 2 female players of the general leaderboard who are going to be joining them, and we can see who is currently leading the male and female leaderboard in the game. In the news. I don't have these names at the ready right now, but I'll go find them for you. And Arthur Hamill supporting Breast Power. I think I've seen you last time already supporting your French teammates. And Shiko, Ame, and Hida are the 3 boats in the lead at the moment. There is going to be 1 discard after race 6, so the rankings are going to shuffle. We've seen this with the last final, where the top 2 after race 6 were looking pretty comfortable in their first and second spot, and unfortunately the one who was second in race 6 lost his place to the player who was 4th at that point. So depending on how do you say it, regular they are in their races tonight, the discards can shuffle quite a lot. It's only 1 discard after race 6. And so yeah, I see only 1 support for Breast Power. Who are the 2 players that you think will make it tonight? So I see Clem, BFC, supporting Ame, and Von Pigeon, Rick. As they approach Mark 3. For the last downwind, Shiko is still in the lead, followed by Hida. Will Ame be able to snatch second place from Hida? We'll see on this last downwind. I think Shiko is going to finish first. And obviously hoping that I won't jinx it with the commentator's curse. Looks like Crow 280 and Shidlo Finn managed to sneak in just in front of Ame. We'll see how it plays out, but it looks like Shiko is going to be first, Hida is going to be second, and it's going to be very tight between these three boats, Ame, Shidlo, and Crow 280. But looks like I was at the same second almost. Well, this is going to be our leaderboard. So Shiko is the first, Hida is second, Crow 280 is third, Shidlo Finn is fourth, Von Pigeon is fifth, and Ame is sixth. Looks like Ame did have a rough time keeping his third position over here. We'll see how he fares in the rest of the fleets. This was race 1, so we're gonna switch to race 2 just after you've given me some time to upload the scores. Race 2 is going to be in Ilka, so a very different boat from the Nakra 17, and we'll talk more about it when we get to it. Start procedure, has been given. Bit more than a minute now before they can cross the finish line, so I actually don't think we've ever explained this in the stream, but I think most of the viewers watching right now already know it. Why the procedure in sailing is longer than for example, in Formula 1 for the cars, is because you get this time to position yourself in what you think would be the best position before crossing the start line, since, well, obviously the boat is powered by the wind. It's not like an engine that you could turn on and off and go at full speed from the beginning or from the get-go. And you'll see different kind of start depending on the boat. So with the Ilka, obviously the top speed isn't very high in upwind, so they'll stay relatively close to the start line. Just try to get the position, an advantageous position compared to their opponents, and try to control the fleet from there. So 3 seconds to the start in race number 2 in this Paris 2024 Challenge 3 final. We see the fleet more or less dividing itself in two in terms of tacks, but most of them have decided to veer onto port tack for this first upwind, likely well because of the shifts that you see on the mini-map top left. The darker zones are where you have more wind pressure and is usually where you prefer to be, but also because being on port tack is currently the most advantageous. You're on the, I think it's called the lift side in English, as a KGR apparently takes the lead, but very close to Hito, Shidlo Finn, Schleg, and the rest of the players. In terms of nations represented tonight, we actually have the most varied one compared to what we've seen in the previous finals. In the previous finals, we see a dominance of Japanese and Brazilian players with, well, in the first final, 2 Brazilian players qualifying for the grand final, being Harder and Hosekuri, and in the second final was 2 Japanese players with FC Rich and FSC Kazuki. Only 1 Japanese tonight, but do not underestimate him. He is one of the top players of the game. being a eSailing World Championship finalist last year, hoping to do it again this year. As you may know, we have the semi-final happening this weekend for the eSailing World Championship. And most of the guys are in it. So it's going to be 2 semi-finals, semi-final A and B, happening on Saturday and Sunday. And only 5 of each semi-final out of the 40 are going to continue to the grand final. We already have our first qualified in the grand final, being Antila Aquila, the Polish sailor who won steering the course. And a 10 will come from this weekend. But back to Paris 2024. KGR leading in this first downwind. Hida is right behind him. Going straight in the middle, KGR slightly to his starboard. Looks like Hida is being slowed down by the boats behind him, going at almost 10 knots now. Maybe managed to find a bit of clean air. And KGR slightly faster. And Crow 280, yeah, cool to see him here. Cool to see some new names in there. I'm happy to see Hida is back. I haven't seen him a lot in this season. But still a top performer as he's showing us right now. Pro 280 is also a name that you should recognize by now. And a bit of a battle happening at the mark over here with Crow 280 forcing Mauro Di Napoli a bit more on the side. Trying to get some meters on him. Will that be enough? We'll see. But he is in a comfortable position to control Mauro Di Napoli, the Italian player. And KGR maintaining his lead after the first downwind, sorry. With Hida 12 meters behind. Lead is a bit divided in two over here. Half of them going on the right, half of them going on the left. Looks like the shifts are pre-neutral. I would say a slightly darker on the right hand side, but might be too late, so we'll see which strategy pays off. And it looks like we've gone down to 11 players. With don't know who disconnected yet. That's a bit of a bummer, but not to worry too much about because there is a discard, so this attempt will be discarded for them. It looks like it's the Brazilian RG Koons who got disconnected. And KGR having a huge lead starting the second downwind. 80 meters ahead of everyone, so he arrived 11th in the first race, so this is definitely going to help him out climb up the rankings. Will that be enough to end up in the top 4? We'll see, but I don't think so because Scheidlo Finn was 4th in the first race, currently 3rd. Looks like he's going to repeat this position again during this race. Shiko is 10th, and he was first after the first race. We'll see how this shuffles the ranking. I'll show you the overall ranking after this race. And we'll see who of... Oh, it's going to be Hida in second. And Von Pigeon on the left over here, don't forget him. It's going to be a tight finish. It looks like Von Pigeon is going to go in front of Hida. And we'll see if the in-game ranking confirms it after the end. But good performance from KGR, good performance from Von Pigeon, and good performance from Hida, who stayed in the top 3 after the first 2 races. We'll see if he can maintain this streak. So final ranking for race 2 is going to be KGR in first position, Von Pigeon in second position, Hida in third, Schleg in fourth, Scheidlefin in fifth, 42 in sixth, Moro di Napoli in 7th, Ame in 8th, Chico Di Melo in 9, Breast Power in 10, Crow in 11, and RG Cones unfortunately got disconnected in 12. So just 3 minutes before the next race, which is going to be in 49er, so another fast boat. And I'll ask for your thoughts of who will end up in the top 2 after the 49er race, since we'll be able to have a good idea of who performs well in which boat. And so the standings after race number 2, Hida is top spot with 5 points, number 2 and 3 in race 1 and 2 respectively, followed by Von Pigeon with 7 points, 5 and 2, Scheidlefin in 3rd with 9, Chico Pimelo in 10, well in 3rd and 4 with 10 points. Looks like we have a 3-way tie in 7, 8, and 9 with 14 points. And we'll see how these players fare in the 49ers. First warning signal has been given. 30 seconds till start. 49er, obviously another Olympic class. Likes the upwind compared to the Ilka, so it's going to go fast in the upwind. It's also going to go fast in the downwind. But not as much as an effective wind shadow on the downwind, so most of the strategy is going to be on the upwind, choosing the correct side, choosing the correct shifts, trying to control the fleet the correct way. And we'll try to, maybe use a bit of wind shadow in the upwind as well to try to pick up the distance between the players behind you. So, as a reminder, Hida and Von Pigeon are top 2, Scheidlefin and Chico are number 3 and 4. There is a 5 points difference between Hida and Chico Pimelo. KGR went from 11th and jumped up to 5th in the overall standings. Looking to repeat that over here. Looks like he did a great start with a 40-meter lead on the second Breast Power. Breast Power in the overall standings is 11th. But he should still not be underestimated because he is capable of climbing up the rankings, as we saw during the last event. We'll switch to the other side of the fleet. Here looking at Schleg, the American sailor, who had a pretty good eSailing World Championship in qualified during one of the first 2 events of the eSailing World Championship. So part of the first semi-finalists. We'll see him again during this weekend for semi-final A and semi-final B. I don't remember which one he registered for. And looks like Hida might be the one to reach the first mark first, confirming his spot at the top of the leaderboard. Shiko could have maybe hunted down a bit Hida, but decided to sail away, maybe staying into this slightly darker corridor that we see, where most of the players are. Looks like this side of this course is definitely the most advantageous. And again, the top four are going to be pretty tight, and even more than that. With Schleg managing to slow down KGR, also maybe being slowed down by the boats behind him, with the likes of Von Pigeon. Meanwhile, Hida is going to reach the gate mark, the first gate mark first, choosing to round the left gate on your screen at the moment, with Shiko following him, though staying on port tack a bit longer before tacking onto starboard. And then they're going to be into this dark zone that's more on the left side of the course. And all deciding to stay onto starboard and Hida attacking again. And looks like it's going to be a pretty good race for Hida. Looks like we had another disconnect. I don't know when that happened. It's not Kunz this time. Looks like it's going to be Crow 280 who got disconnected. Crow 280 currently 7th in the standing, tied with Ame and Schleg with 14 points. And Shidlofin and Chico still on to Hida, not too far behind. Meanwhile, Von Pigeon, who was second overall, is down to 8th over here in the middle of, at the back of the fleet. With a tighter fleet, so it's going to be harder to find some clean air. As the head of the fleet has started their downwind towards the finish line. And I think we're going to keep that order for the top 4 players. And Hida crosses first, Shiko is going to be second. Let's confirm this. Shidlo, it's going to be third. And Schleg managed to climb up to 4th. Von Pigeon was 8th. Currently 7th. Is he going to manage to win a spot? We'll see with the final ranking. See what this says. And Ame is going to close the march at 11th. Final standings for race number 3 is going to be Hida in first, Shiko in second, Shiloh in third, Schleg in fourth. Breast Power in fifth, Moro Di Napoli in sixth, Von Pigeon in 7, Kunz in 8th, 9 is going to be KGR, 10 is going to be 42, Ame in 10th, in 11th, and Crow unfortunately got disconnected. And here we have the overall standing after race number 3. Hida is maintaining his top spot. Shiko is actually going to be second after race 3 despite what the scoreboard is showing. Shiloh is going to be third. Von Pigeon fourth, so maintaining his fourth position with this last race. Schleg climbed up, I believe, to fifth. KGR went back down to sixth. Moro Di Napoli in seventh. 42 in 8, Breast Power in 9, Ame in 10, Crow in 11, and RJ Kunz in 12. The race is going to start at 50Q. So based on the rankings that you see here with their performance in each of the boats, what are your predictions for the top 2 at the end of the event? And Matteo, thank you for the follow. Right, 52, all players are in. We're going to start race number 4 and the NACRA 17. Race number 4 in NACRA 17, 45 seconds to go. By the way, Parthian Shot, thank you for the follow. Sorry I missed it. Based on what happened in the first race in NACRA 17, it was Shiko and Hida who performed very well during that race. They got 1 and 2 respectively. 3 for the NACRA 17 was Crow 280, and 4 was Shiloh Finn. And looks like we had several missed starts from Amish, Schleg, Hida, and Shiko. Which is unfortunate for them. Shiko being second overall, 12 points. So there is a 6 points difference, as you can see, between Hida and Shiko. And why I'm saying that Shiko is third and is second and Shiloh third is because Shiko has had a better performance than Shiloh. So when there is a tie in points after several races, you're going to line up all their scores for each race, compare their best performances. If there's a tie there, compare the second best, and you break the tie until one has a better performance than the other. And in this case, Shiko arrived first once, while Shiloh did not arrive first in a single race yet. So the tie will go in favor of Shiko. Well, Crow 280 is showing that he does like the NACRA 17, currently in second position, close in distance to KGR. But KGR is likely going to reach the mark first because he just needs to round the mark whereas Crow is going to have to tack. And so KGR is going to steal the first place from him. And Shidlo Finn closely following them, Mordi Napoli as well. Good to see him in the mix of in the top 4. This Italian player who is 7th overall with 22 points, 9, 7, and 6. And yeah, sorry if there's moments where I'm not talking anymore. It's because I'm checking stuff in the background. I'm in the chat with the finalists and all of that, so I can tell you that there is a protest of one player against the other. We'll see how the protest committee deals with it, and if it's going to slow down the thing. If there is going to be a hearing, it's going to happen after race number 6, when the discard is going to be applied, before we can move on to race number 7. It can actually happen after race number 7. So yeah, the hearing will happen after the event. Do not slow it down, and which means that the score at the end of the event might not be the final scores. In the meantime, while I was looking away, Moro di Napoli took first spot. Pro 280 is still second, Shidlo is third, and KGR dropped down to fourth. You'll see Moro di Napoli, you're seeing these players doing this with the example of Moro di Napoli in the middle of the screen. Trying to go upwind a bit more, trying to gain some meters over here. And as I'm saying this, KGR is rounding mark number 3 and is going to be the first to head into the downwind with a pretty considerable lead. And Crow 280 is maintaining his second spot, but closely followed by Breast Power. Nice to see him in the top 3. He'll need this because he is 9th overall with 23 points, tied with 42. And we're going to see the battle between these two players over here. Breast Power is in Crow 280's. When Shadow decides to steer behind Crow 280 and then jibe onto some clean air, and Crow 280 following him into there. So Crody is going to finish second. I don't see Breast Power managing to catch up on these last few meters. Behind them is going to be Shidlo Finn, Moro di Napoli, Ame, Von Pigeon. And whoa, looks like Lorenz 42 had a rough race with the Nakra 17 this time. He did arrive 7th in the first race, now 12th in this one. Final standing for race number 4, second race of Nakra 17, is what you see on the screen right now. So KGR in first, Crow 280 in second, Breast Power in third, Moro di Napoli in fourth, Shidlo Finn in fifth, Ame in sixth, Von Pigeon in seventh, Shiko in eighth, Hida in ninth, Schleg in 10th, RJ Kunz in 11th, and 12 is 42. And there is the scoreboard. Hido is confirming his first place. Shidlo took second place from Shiko with 17 points. Now Shiko 20. Von Pigeon still in fourth with 21 points. KGR in fifth with 22 points. So it is still quite close. Moro di Napoli is sixth with 26, tied with Breast Power. Schleg and Crow 280 are tied at 28. Ame with 31, 42 with 35, and RJ Kunz with 43 points. It's going to be race number 5 in Ilka again. So as we said, slower boat, good in the downwind for the strategy and slowing down your opponents. And the race will start at 03, so that's in just 1 minute. All the participants are in. And if we look at the performances of the players in the first Ilka race, looks like KGR is going to be favorite with Von Pigeon. As they arrived first and second, third was Hida, and fourth in that race was Schlegg. And looks like, well, Hida and Shadowfin are slowly confirming their top spots. Still 5 points different between first and third this time compared to fourth in the previous. But just 2 points difference between first and second. Are Hida and Shadowfin going to be the two players qualifying tonight for the Paris 2024 Grand Final? It is currently 03. So the signal has been given. And we're going to switch to this view to look at the scoreboard and look at the start procedure. For all the viewers currently watching us, what time is it at your place at the moment? I'm curious if we're mostly Europeans. I see RG Tyler. Well, I saw RG Tyler in the chat, so he's you're in New Zealand, I believe, RG Tyler. What time is it there actually? Maurice is Europe. Arthur Hamill, actually, I'm not sure. Clem BFC is Europe as well. And 5 seconds to the start. It's going to be the Ilka again. Same upwind, downwind. And only one false start from Chico. No, 12. So not a false start. And a 13 on Von Pigeon over here. So KGR slightly taking the lead according to the ranking on the left. It looks like they've all decided to go onto port tack because the shift favors port tack currently. And if you look at the minimap, there's no real wind pressure, like more wind pressure there's not that much wind pressure at a certain area, so there's no areas that you should really prioritize if you're looking at the minimap right now. Just be looking at the shifts. They've all decided to do what's the best thing, and it's going to be a very tight fleet, I believe, when we reach the mark or when we reach the ley line. I see one of the boats tacking onto starboard over here. That's Crow 280. And a coming right, says Farley. Nice to see you in there, Farley. Hope you're doing well. I haven't had the opportunity to see you a lot in this season, but I'm glad to see that you're okay. And so we have Lorenzo, Ame, and Hida neck and neck over here just above the ley line. Meanwhile, Breast Power, KGR are under the ley line, so they're going to have to tack before being able to round the mark. And it's going to be tight with Breast Power, who manages to pass right between, who was that, Ame and N42. And 42 taking the lead. He'll need that. He wasn't performing at his best, I would say, for the first 4 races, 7, 6, 10, and 12. First place will definitely help him out over here. Moro Di Napoli decides to leave 42 alone, and Breast Power is going to try to hunt down 42. Not sure if he managed to catch him into the wind shadow. 9.6, 9.5 might be a tiny bit. And Farley predicting another right shift for the second upwind. So 42 rounded the mark first, going on to port tack over here. Breast Power, Moro Di Napoli both deciding to do the same, and as I say that, Moro Di Napoli tacks over to starboard. Meanwhile, the rest of the fleet are rounding the mark. They're all bunched up together. And I'm not sure... Yeah, he did. But he did touch the mark, we did see that. For Shiloh Finn. And do we have like, yeah, looks like we do have like some sort of fleet cut in half. And I think the most interesting battle is going to be happening between Moro Di Napoli and Breast Power for second place. If we look at the overall standings again, Hida is going maybe to drop down a bit. First place with 15 points. Second place is Shiloh Finn with 20. And Shiloh is in 12th, so Hida will stay ahead of Shiloh. And Shiko is in 5th. So might be able to pass in front of Hida, though if Hida remains in 7th, that's not going to be enough to take first spot. But might be enough to steal second spot from Shiloh Finn. Meanwhile, Von Pigeon, currently in 4th overall, is 5th in this race, so that's going to be good for him as well. He is in front, and I lost him in the ranking. Well, he is in front of Hida and he is in front of Shiloh Finn, but he's not in front of Shiko. 42, rounding the top mark first. Again, Moro Di Napoli following him and Trap Breast Power right behind. They've managed to separate themselves from the rest of the fleet. Currently rounding the mark is here as well. Ame and Schleg in 4th and 5th. And let's see what happens between Breast Power and Moro Di Napoli. So Breast Power going slightly faster than Moro Di Napoli. He is in the wind pressure going at 11.9 knots. Sorry. Moro Di Napoli at 11.6. You see that the Ilka has a very steep downwind, I guess you would say, with 170 degrees compared to the wind. So that's almost 180. And Breast Power getting onto Moro Di Napoli over here. Will that be enough to catch him? We will see. And it is a penalty for Breast Power over here, so Moro Di Napoli has confirmed his second spot. Breast Power in 3rd. What is happening behind? Ame is going to cross 4th, with Schleg in 5th, KGR in 6th, Shiko 7th. Kunz, Hida, and Crow is going to be 8, 9, 10, I believe. And there we have it for race number 5 in the Ilka. These are the final standings. A good performance from 42. He needed that. We'll see how this shuffles the overall ranking. I'll show you in a bit. And so there we have it. So the overall standings looks like Hida is maintaining his top spot. Shiko managed to take second spot from Shiloh Finn, 27 point. Shiloh Finn dropping down to 6th, tied with Breast Power at 29 points. KGR in 3rd with 28. Moro Di Napoli at 28 as well. So it's going to be a very tight final. Last finals, the top 4 were almost kind of tied, but they were away from the rest of the fleet. And the scores were close, but not this close. So this is a different final from the previous ones. But the scores are much more closer, just 1 point difference between 3, 4, 5, and 6. All in a position to claim a top spot. As a reminder, there's going to be a discard after race number 6, meaning that your worst performance between in race 1 to 6 is going to be discarded, so voided, so not counted in the rankings. We'll see how this shifts it. Hida is in a pretty comfortable spot with 2 times 9, so the 9 is going to be forgotten, and the rest of his performance are 1, 2, 3. We'll see how he performs in this race. It is currently 16. So the start signal is going to be given. And we're heading on to race number 6, 49er again. I'm going to keep the ranking on the left over here for you to keep analyzing. And so yeah, kind of hard to say which one we're going to be the top 2. Hida has been very consistent. Shiko has been fighting a lot with KGR, Moro Di Napoli, Breast Power, and Shiloh Finn. These 5 players can all aim for second place. And in 49er, if we're analyzing what we saw in the previous race, well, it's just in this order. Hida was first, Shiko was second, third was Shiloh Finn, and fourth was Schleg. Looks like Hida might be in a difficult position currently in penalty. So slowed down. Is deciding to go onto port tack, and the engine decides that is a penalty start. So we'll slow him down for another 10 seconds. Penalty start is active for the eSailing World Championship for Paris 2024 and for all the challenges but the custom races basically. And how the penalty start section works is, well, if you get a penalty between minus 14 and minus 3 seconds, and during that penalty you take a second penalty and you tack and you cross the start line, onto port, you will get an extra 10 seconds after the initial penalty has finished. So here, he took a penalty, took another penalty during this time period, and crossed onto port tack. And so that was deemed a penalty start by the system. Meaning that Ame is taking the lead, 42 is taking second place, and Schleg third place. KGR still in the top 4, Shiko 5th, Shiloh Finn 6th. So it's still very close between these top 5-6 players. Moro Di Napoli alone on his on this side over here. Meanwhile, Von Pigeon is in a bit of a hassle, currently at 10th. I believe that's RJ Kunz that we see above the lane line over here. And 42 decided to attack right now. Will that be enough to go over the mark? We'll see. He is very close, so he can try to steer the boat a bit to pass above the mark. Looks like he managed to do it. Ame is still in the lead, heading onto the downwind. As I said previously, 49er doesn't have a very big downwind, very big wind shadow, so it's going to be hard to catch your opponents and slow them down in the downwind. And I see a boat going up over here, so it looks like Moro di Napoli has had a disconnection. Unfortunate for him, but that means that this core will likely be discarded. Lorenzo still, 42 is still chasing Ame. KGR is right behind them. Schleg as well, and on the left over here we see Breast Power. Top 5 still. And Farley saying that predicting that KGR will take the lead. Currently in second, third, let's say. So 28 points. He's going to have 30 or 31 points if he can maintain this position. Which is still above Ame, which is still above 42. And compared to Hida, if he stays in 8, he's going to go down to 32 points. And Shiko, if he stays in 6, is going to go to 33 points. So yeah, looks like KGR is in a good spot to take the lead. And so 42 is still close to Ame. And who is up there? It's KGR. So not only is he going to take the lead in the overall standings, but he's going to take the lead in the race right now. Putting him to 29 points. And it's going to be hard for the rest of them to catch up. But then again, we're comparing these with without the discard. And if you factor in the discard for KGR, his worst performance being 11, you're basically taking out 10 points from his current score, which is really good. So after this race, there's going to be the discard. You're going to have to leave me 3 minutes again to apply the discard and show you the overall standings. But it looks like it's going to be a very... Well, KGR is going to put himself in a very good position. Meanwhile, Hida and Chico finished in the middle of the fleet. They've had some good runs. They've had some bad runs. It's not going to be enough to... But it's going to be enough to keep close to KGR, but it's not going to be enough to stay in the top 2. We'll see. KGR Ame 42 crossing the finish line. Schleg in 4th, Breast Power in 5th. We'll see if the engine confirms it. Fortunately for Moro di Napoli, he got disconnected. So this race is going to be his discard. Final standings after race, well, for race number 6 is KGR first, Ame second, 42 third, Schleg in 4th, Breast Power in 5th, 6th is Chico, 7 is Hida, 8 is Von Pigeon, 9 is Scheidler Finn, 10 is Crow 280, 11 is RJ Kunz, and Mordi Napoli got disconnected. So, standings after race 6 with the discard. KGR takes first place as Farley predicted. Hida is maintaining his position in the top 2 with 22 points in second place. And, well, it's going to be a tie between Breast Power and Shiko. The tie going in favor of Shiko normally. So Shiko will be 3rd and Breast Power 4th with 24 points. Then it's going to be Scheidlo and Ame with 26 points. Then it's going to be Schleg and 42 with 27 points. A lot of ties in this final. Before we head over into race 7. Has been given. And we'll head over to the race. So the last race of the final, race 7 in Accra 17, reaching start for this Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Challenge 3 final. The top 2 of this final are going to go to the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Grand Final happening next weekend on the 14th. And before that, we're going to have the Challenge 4 final happening on the 13th on Friday, where the top 2 of that final will also join the Grand Final. And added to that, it's going to be the top 2 male players from the overall ranking with the top 2 female players from the overall ranking as well joining them. So Challenge 4 is actually currently ongoing, so if you want to have a shot at the Grand Final and win the prizes, then you better get your races in and get your scores up to qualify, and will reach the top 12 of the challenge. Top 12 not yet qualified. Obviously those already qualified are not going to try to qualify again. And there we have it. All of them almost, well, most of them, well, some of them actually just deciding to use the SPI. And it looks like KGR again has done a good start and is going to reach the mark first. So Scheidler Finn is right behind him, and Scheidler Finn managed to sneak in. KGR pushing onto RJ Kunz, penalizing him with the Rule 11. But still in the battle to reach the gate, still in the top 4. It's going to be very tight. So the prizes are a certification, year-long certification for winning the Paris 2024 final. Well, the classic, basically, prizes that we can give you. But most the title of the Paris 2024 winner, but also the ability to design a new course and add a new course in the game that can then be used in different challenges and maybe custom races. So whoever wins could design a new course with us. It can be something completely fictional that we're not used to seeing in the real life, or it could be something that you are used to seeing in the real life and want to be added in game. Obviously, we already have a couple of ideas of new courses that we'll be adding. So if the design is too close to a course that we've already designed, we'll say it. So Shiloh, KGR, Crow 280, Ame, all of these boats where there's not a clear leader yet. It's very tight still. And Shiloh looks like they've, I was gonna say managed to pull away, but not really. KGR dropped down to 7th. He was one of the first to reach the mark, but had to leave room to, well, left some room to Scheidler Finn, and continued on probably a bit too much on towards the right, and then got stuck in the middle of the fleet. So it's going to be hard for him to pull away. At 18 points, he does have a 4-point lead on Hida with 22 points. But it's going to be tough. Hida, speaking of him, is 8th with 22 points, so not in the greatest spot either. Breast Power and Shiko are both tied at 24 points. Shiko in 2nd and Breast Power in 10th, so that could be good for Shiko. That can also be good for Shiloh Finn with 26 points at 5th position. So that'll put him at 26. So we'll see how it goes. They're currently reaching the upwind mark again. And let's put the score on the side so you can see how the ranking can look like. And unfortunate mark touch by Ame over here. This is going to be the last mark before the finish line. This is the last reaching mark. Shiloh Finn reaching it first. Ame trying to slow down. Shiko still. Sorry, that's Schleg. And manages to pass right in front of him, putting a penalty onto Shiko. Will that allow Ame to catch up? It will. And that is very unfortunate for Shiko, who was 2nd, took a penalty, and that just could not get out of it. Gonna cross the finish line in 6th. I'm not looking at the leaderboard right now, so I cannot tell you how the ranking will shift. But these are the final standings for race number 7. KGR takes 1st spot, Hida takes 2nd spot. This is a two-way tie for 1st place, 26 points each. 27 is going to be Shiloh Finn, very close behind. 29 Schleg with 4th position. 29 tied with Schleg is Ame. Is that in the correct order? It does not look like it. Ame should be 4th and Schleg should be 5th. Shiko at 30 points and 6th. Breast Power 34 points with 7. Von Pigeon 8th with 38 points. 42 9th with 39 points, tied with Mordi Napoli. Crow at 280 at 41 points. 11th spot and 12 with Arjikun. So these are the provisional results until the protest has been dealt with. Well, until the protest has been closed or voided or whatsoever, I'll let you know. Provisional results will look like this. The final results might look like this. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But if these are the final results, congratulations to KGR. Congratulations to Hida. Both qualified for the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Grand Final happening on the 14th at 20 UTC. So just next weekend. It's our 3rd Japanese out of 6 players. So half of their Grand Finalists so far has been Japanese, just to show that their level is just phenomenal this season. And I've just seen that the protest has been withdrawn. So these are the final results. KGR, Hida are the ones to qualify for the Grand Final. Congratulations to them. Well, also congratulations to Hida, who didn't qualify for the previous finals. So first final that he qualified in. And it was a very tough final, to say the least. Scores were very tight. A lot of shuffle in the rankings. I don't think we've had this much shuffling in the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup so far. So good to see. Next up, next streams, next events happening on Virtual Regatta Inshore is going to be the semi-finals for the eSailing World Championship. So eSailing World Championship semi-finals are happening this weekend, Saturday at 20 UTC and Sunday at 13 UTC. 40 players in each, and only 5 from each of these semifinals are going to qualify for the Grand Final. Grand Final date and location is still to be confirmed. And after that, well, it's going to be the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup again. On Friday next week, 20 UTC is going to be the Challenge 4 final. Challenge 4 is currently ongoing on the game, so make sure you get your races in and try to get into the top 12 to get a spot. And the grand final will be happening the day after at 20 UTC. So yep, I guess that's it. This has been Oscar, your host. Thank you all for watching. It's been a blast. Really tight racing again today. I'm just going to repeat myself, but it was the case. Very nice to watch, and well, protest being withdrawn, so these are going to be the final results. And I'll see you this weekend. Join us. Don't forget to follow us and join us for the stream on Saturday and Sunday. See you all.